Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be interesting video because we are comparing the B2B segment gold companies. Basically, Sky Gold will analyze what is happening here, what are the results from the Q2 FY26, then Shanti Gold and Utsav CZ. So we are not discussing RBC Jewelers because since it is a low growth company, so we will not discuss that today in this particular video. So let's get started with the Sky Gold, which has done almost like stellar सेट ऑफ रेवेन्यूज इन Q2 FY26 1485 करोड़ का ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 93% का सेल्स ग्रोथ है. EBITDA growth of around 157%. EBITDA margin is also improved 5.1 to 6.7%. Little dampen in the PAT growth, which is little lower than the EBITDA. Much lower than the EBITDA growth, and but the PAT margin is also kind of decreased here from 4.8 to 4.8 to 4.5%. Okay, and EPS growth is also just 61%. So these two are negative points which are there in the Q2 FY26 results, that there is no operating leverage they got as compared to EBITDA growth, which we are seeing here. Now let's understand this, because many of us have a confusion that whether the pace of the sales growth is coming down for Sky Gold, whether the Sky Gold is really not interesting right now, or Shanti Gold has taken the crown from Sky Gold. Let's try to find out those answers in this particular video, and we will find out those answers with the help of data. So data doesn't lie. So let's understand the volume which they have done in Q2 FY25. I have taken volume from that. They did almost like 345 kg. Then in Q3, they did almost like 447 kg, which is increased. Then Q4 25, 460 kg. Then Q1 26, which is little lower, 456 kg. You can say same volume. And then Q2 FY26 comes volume around 544 kg per month. That's their run rate basically. So the volume, if you see in Q2 FY25, the volume was around 345 kg per month, and that has increased to 544 kg per month. So that's a significant jump year on year. Point number one. Now, what are expected volumes in Q3 and Q4? As per the company's guidance, 630 kg per month in Q3, and in Q4 FY26, 650 kg per month. So their exit rate at FY26 is going to be 650 kg per month. So that is the target for FY26. For FY27, they're targeting almost like 900 kg per month volume rate, right? Now, if you see the current capacity which they have, it is around 1200 kg per month capacity which they have right now. So this capacity will be fully utilized by the end of FY27 or early FY28, and that's why they are coming up with the new facility which will increase their volume to 4000 kgs per month. So that's their initial guidance. So that 4000 kgs per month will take around that will happen somewhere in 2030-31, because the rate at which they're growing the volume, it will take almost like FY30 FY31 to reach that full 4000 kgs per month, right? So that you need to understand first. Okay, now we understood the volumes. Let's understand the revenues, expected revenue in Q3 and Q4. Okay, so in Q2 they did almost around 1485 crores of the revenue, which comes around 93% year-on-year growth. Now, if you just extrapolate these volumes, which are guided by the company, that is 630 kg in Q3 FY26 and 650 kg in Q4 FY26, इसको अगर extrapolate करेंगे तो अपने को एक टेंटेटिव एक फिगर दिखती है, which is almost around Q3 में ये लोग they could do almost around 1650 crores to 1700 crores in Q3 they can do, because in Q3 again festivals were there like Diwali, Dashera, right? Now, and they are already saying, and other companies in the B2C segment are also saying that they did good sales in Q3. So that is one. And in Q4, again there are festivals. So with the volume guidance they have given, that is 650 kg per month, they could do sales of around 1770 to 1800 crores. So that's my just guesstimate, right? Based upon that, and if you can now calculate year on year कितना revenue आ सकता है, कितना growth रह सकता है, ठीक है? तो आप ये calculate कर सकते हो. तो तो ऑब्वियसली 93% तो ईयर ऑन ईयर नहीं रहेगा डेफिनेटली। क्योंकि 93% इसलिए था क्योंकि लोअर बेस था। नाउ बेस हैज बिकम स्लाइटली, जैसे द वे स्काई गोल्ड इज इंक्रीजिंग द सेल्स year on year, obviously base is increasing, and it will be difficult for them to maintain that 100% growth, right? So you need to understand that immediately they cannot just keep on growing at around 100%. So that is the revenue guesstimates for Q3 and Q4 for you to understand what would be the expected growth in the upcoming quarters, basically, right? So you can fairly assume that or fairly consider that the growth would be in the range of 60 to 75% in the upcoming quarters, Q3 and Q4. Now, year-on-year trends, I already discussed this with you, that Q3 and Q4 like 60 to 70% year-on-year growth. On an average, अगर growth निकालते हैं पूरे साल का, तो वो आता है 70% year-on-year growth, जो फिट बैठता है उनका जो FY26 का गाइडेंस है, वो है 5,400 करोड़ का। नाउ ये जो गाइडेंस था, ये गाइडेंस कंपनी ने जो Q2 FY26 कॉन कॉल में दिया क्या? नहीं। ये गाइडेंस कब दिया? ये गाइडेंस 2-3 क्वार्टर्स पहले ही कंपनी दे रही है। इनफैक्ट इन द आई थिंक इन द Q3 और आई थिंक इन Q4 FY25 दे रिवाइज द गाइडेंस अपवर्ड में, अपवर्ड साइड में इन्होंने अप साइड में रिवाइज किया था ये गाइडेंस। तो दिस इज समथिंग विच इज, ऐसा नहीं है कि मार्केट को ये पता नहीं है। तो ये जो नंबर्स है, ये नंबर्स मार्केट को 2-3 क्वार्टर के पहले ही पता है बेसिकली। तो ऐसी अभी कोई बात नहीं है कि एकदम से मार्केट को ये पता चलता है कि स्काई गोल्ड जो है वो ग्रो नहीं कर पा रहा है, राइट? सो ये दिस इज समथिंग विच इज, दिस पिक्चर इज नॉट राइट. So market has already factored in all these points in the stock price. So ये जो 5,400 करोड़ का रेवेन्यू है in FY26 with 70% year on year growth, and also FY26 का जो रेवेन्यू है which is 7,600 crores, वो year on year आता है 33%. So market knew, already knew market कि ये जो है pace of the sales growth which is coming from 100% to 70% and then 70% to 33%, right? So that is point number 2 to be noted here. Now let's understand the highlights which they did in Q2, highlights of the con call basically. Right. So the acquisitions which they did in last 1 or 2 years, like Ganna Gold, which is the Speed Bangle, which they renamed, and the Sparkling Chains and Star Mangal Sutra, they added into the volume contribution, right? So the volume has, you as you're saying, as you're saying, the volume has been increasing quarter on quarter because of these inorganic expansions basically which they have done, right? So that is paying well. Then they are also growing the volume in the advanced gold business, where the companies are giving the gold to Sky Gold, and then Sky Gold makes the or manufactures the jewelry and sell them back with the high margin. So because of that, working capital has been efficiently managed, and it is in fact reduced. So that is point number 2. Their export revenues, if you compare historically, they were under 8%. Now they are going towards 10%, and the target is to reach 17 to 20% in FY26. It's just because of they opened the office in the Dubai, and what is happening here is that it's basically very interesting fact which I already spoken in the last video also, that in Dubai, they procure gold at a discounted rate, right, which is a Dubai rate basically, and then they ship back to the India, and then they manufacture uh, the jewelry here in India, and then they ship that jewelry back to the Dubai or export market. So that means what, if they're manufacturing gold in Dubai, sorry, jewelry in Dubai, then ये जो discount मिल रहा है इनको, I think जो भी है, जितना भी एक $7-8 का जो discount आ रहा है, that discount they wouldn't have got had they been manufacturing in overseas, but they're manufacturing in India, they're procuring the gold from Dubai, so they're getting that leverage. So that is point number 3 or 4 maybe. And then this gold metal loan. So बैंक से लोन वर्सेस गोल्ड मेटल का जो लोन है वो बहुत सस्ता पड़ रहा है इनको, एंड दैट इज व्हाई ये एक एफिशिएंट वे टू मैनेज द वर्किंग कैपिटल. सो दीज आर ऑल गुड पॉइंट्स बेसिकली द कंपनी इज डूइंग. सो नथिंग रॉन्ग अबाउट ऑल दीज नंबर्स. द पिक्चर इज वेरी गुड एक्चुअली. या बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे अगर हम एब्सोल्यूट वे में देखते हैं किसी भी कंपनी को, तो वो एक बायसनेस आ जाता है कि अच्छा मुझे स्काई गोल्ड अच्छा लगता है, आई हैव बीन इन्वेस्टिंग इन द स्काई गोल्ड इन लास्ट 1 or 2 years, तो ये कंपनी के बारे में अच्छा अच्छा ही बोलूंगा, राइट? तो ऐसा नहीं है, हमें हमेशा वो बायस हटाना ही होगा। वो हटाने के लिए हमें वी नीड टू लुक एट द peers also, क्योंकि peers will definitely change the landscape. And if we don't look at peers, then it would be not right. तो देख लेते हैं नेक्स्ट कंपनी विच इज शांति गोल्ड। अगेन दे इनका बिजनेस मॉडल तो सेम ही है, तो मैं ज्यादा वो एक्सप्लेन नहीं करूंगा। तो 430 करोड़ का रेवेन्यू किया, विच इज 62% ईयर ऑन ईयर ग्रोथ, राइट? नाउ इफ यू कंपेयर sky gold is 93% versus 62, but we need to look at the future and what these companies are going to do in the FY26 full year. So that is the point, because many of times I've seen people comparing current quarterly growth guidance, उसको फैक्टर करते हैं PE में to calculate the forward PE, but it is not right in my opinion. Obviously this valuation is subject to parameter, अलग अलग बंदे का अलग अलग हो सकता है, but मुझे लगता है कि annual growth is more important than the quarter and quarter growth in factoring out the forward P. So let's get right on it. So 62% of the growth, which is a year-on-year growth with 259% EBITDA growth. If you see here, significant jump in the EBITDA margin, almost 6% to 14%. And then PAT growth 389%. PAT margin is also significantly improved to 10%, which is actually good. But if you see the EPS growth is decreased. There is no EPS growth actually, and that is because of the increase in the share capital. That's fine. इसको मैं negative point नहीं बोलूंगा. Anyways, so let's compare now the volumes which they are doing in Q1 FY26. They did almost around 323 kg. That is in 3 months they did 323 kg. So per month का जो run rate है वो है 107 kg per month. And in Q2 they did almost around 427 kg. So per month they did 125 kg per month. So Q2 FY26 quarter को मैं अगर compare करता हूँ year on year, तो it's 10% year on year increase in the volumes. So this is actually good. In spite of increased gold prices, they managed to get such high volume growth, right? So that is point number one to be noted in the Shanti Gold Q2 FY26 Concall analysis. So in first half, comparatively, if we combine, they did almost around 750 kg of the volume, and their target in FY26 is around 1900 to 2000 kg. So this number is very interesting, and that is what changing the picture here in the B2B gold space. So अगर आप calculate करते हो 2000 kg, तो 166 kg per month. Obviously ये number is very very low than what Sky Gold is doing, but we should actually compare the pace at which these guys are growing and the pace at which Sky Gold is growing. Now current capacity कितना है इनका? 2700 kg पर ईयर है कैपेसिटी, राइट? तो ये लोग एडिशनल कैपेक्स कर रहे हैं इन जयपुर, विच विल ऐड ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 1200 केजी का ऐड कर देंगे। टोटल कैपेसिटी इनका हो जाएगा ऑलमोस्ट 3900 kg पर ईयर, ठीक है? तो दिस इज द टारगेटेड देयर टोटल कैपेसिटी। नाउ ये जो 1200 kg है, इसका अर्ली नेक्स्ट ईयर से स्टार्ट हो जाएगा इनका कंट्रीब्यूशन। उसमें से दे विल यूज लाइक 60% यूटिलाइजेशन होगा इन FY27, right? So we'll calculate that also in shortly. We'll calculate that. So expected sales and guidance which is given by the company is actually good. तो उन्होंने बोला है कि 1900 से 2000 करोड़, यहाँ पे मैंने 200 लिख दिया गलती से, सो लेट मी करेक्ट टू 2000 crore. Okay, so 1900 to 2000 crores of revenue. If you calculate that, it comes around 80% year on year growth. So that is impressive. So FY25 they did almost around 1100 crore का revenue किया था. Now in FY26 they are confident because second half is better than first half as per the historical companies numbers, and therefore it is almost like 80% year on year growth. Now compare the Sky Gold ka year on year growth, annual growth versus Shanti Gold annual growth. You will have an answer. Now FY25 growth kitna tha Shanti Gold mein, which is around 56%. Now this company is moving from 56% growth to 80% growth. So that is the point number three here to be noted apart from volume and capacity expansion which they are doing. These are some points like Sky Gold. They are also going into the path. They're opening their subsidiary in Dubai, UAE, focusing on the western markets of India like Maharashtra and also the नॉर्थ मार्केट्स लाइक हरियाणा एंड चंडीगढ़. ठीक है, तो ये एक दो पॉइंट्स हाईलाइट है. तो बेसिकली यहाँ पे तीन ही पॉइंट्स है जो विच आर इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स हियर. वॉल्यूम गाइडेंस, कैपेसिटी एक्सपेंशन एंड द FY26 का रेवेन्यू गाइडेंस विच इज 80% year on year increase and it is moving in the positive direction. Whereas if you compare the Sky Gold, they have given the guidance. अभी ये मैं Sky Gold के लिए इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ क्योंकि Shanti Gold has given the guidance, and Shanti, because of Shanti Gold, the landscape is kind of changing here. Now, before understanding the valuation of all the three companies, let's understand the Utsav. Utsav is again in the same B2B spaces, similar business model है. 475 crores का सेल्स उन्होंने किया. नाउ कंपेयर द सेल्स ऑफ 475 crores वर्सेस 430 crores ऑफ Shanti Gold, right? Utsav is doing better as compared to Shanti Gold. That's what the numbers are telling. 67% year-on-year growth with 193% EBITDA growth. EBITDA margin increase from 5 to 9% and PAT growth 190% increase, whereas PAT margin is 3.5 to 6%. And there is also EPS growth. So all the boxes ticked in the in this particular checklist. All the boxes are ticked for Utsav CZ Gold. ठीक है. Now volume guidance कितना, volume growth कितना किया है? 25%. Now this company doesn't report quarter and quarter number, they report half yearly number. So in first half 2026, I should say, yeah, FY 2026. So it is around 25% of the increase in the gold volumes has happened with 67% utilization. So that is good. EBITDA margin का guidance इन लोगों ने दिया which is 9 to 10%, which almost they did around 9% in this particular quarter. So they are guiding that 9% is sustainable kind of guidance here in EBITDA at EBITDA level. Now capacity expansion ये लोग भी कर रहे हैं. तो एक थीम आप देख रहे हो कि ये तीनों में सबसे पहले capacity expansion has started by Sky Gold because they identified the growth opportunity there. It's like $145 billion मार्केट होने वाला है ये, because जो अनफ्रैगमेंटेड प्लेयर्स है वो भी कंबाइन होके ये पूरा एक सॉरी जो जो छोटे छोटे प्लेयर्स है, फ्रैगमेंटेड मार्केट है, वो एक पूरा कंबाइन होके एक प्रॉपर मार्केट, एक रेगुलेटेड मार्केट काइंड ऑफ बनेगा ये. देन सो द कैपेसिटी एक्सपेंशन इज लाइक 1.5 to 1.6 टन से लेकर ये लोग 2.5 टन करेंगे. So, and this will add shortly within a month as per the company's guidance, and therefore early H2 maybe we can see the revenues here. So that revenue guidance is already factored here. They are guiding that 1100 से 1200 करोड़ का revenue ये लोग कर सकते हैं, which is almost around 85% year on year growth आता है. Similar to Sky Gold and Shanti Gold, they are also targeting export opportunities like in the market of Middle East, Singapore and US. तो business model में ज्यादा कुछ है नहीं. Now let's compare the valuation. See, now this is important task in FY25. Sorry, in overall FY26, the growth rate of Sky Gold is going to be in the range of 60 to 70%. Now 70% appears more likely. So this could be 70% growth as compared to FY25. FY25 में जो versus FY24 जो growth था वो था 103%. Now that is one important reason. 103 से ये जा रहा है 70% की तरफ. Now had only Sky Gold यहाँ पे प्लेयर रहता जो 70% से ग्रो कर रहा होता, एक सिनेरियो में यहाँ पे बोल रहा हूँ, and all other players like Shanti and Utsav, had they been growing at very low pace of the sales growth, very low, let's say less than 30, then in that case Sky Gold would have been a clear winner. But what is happening here now, if you see, this Shanti Gold is growing at around 80% growth now, which is 10% more than what Sky Gold is doing. Growth, if you see, 56% FY25 का growth था. Now in FY26 it is 80% year on year. So it is going in a positive direction. ये हम लोग हर valuation exercise में हम लोग ये हमेशा ये कॉलम में पुट अप कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम जो हमने वीडियो बनाया था डिफरेंट सेक्टर वहां पे भी यही तो स्टोरी था MTAR का, राइट. MTAR जो कंपनी है वो भी लाइक माइनस से पॉजिटिव की तरफ जा रही है कंपनी, तो सेम ही स्टोरी है अगेन. तो और ये जो उत्सव सीजी है वो भी ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 85% का ईयर ऑन ईयर ग्रोथ है, बट FY25 में उनका ग्रोथ था 90%, नाउ इट इज स्लाइटली लोअर देन FY25 विच इज 85% तो ये एक स्लाइट नेगेटिव पॉइंट है यहाँ पे। बट इफ यू कंपेयर उत्सव वर्सेस शांति गोल्ड, ऑब्वियसली शांति गोल्ड इज विनिंग बिकॉज शांति गोल्ड हैज काइंड ऑफ यू कैन से हायर बेस देन उत्सव। इट्स अ मार्केट कैप ऑफ अराउंड 1500 करोड़ का मार्केट कैप है, उत्सव को ऑलमोस्ट अराउंड आई थिंक 500 करोड़ का ही मार्केट कैप है। एंड रेवेन्यू गाइडेंस जो है शांति गोल्ड का इज मच बिगर, 2000 करोड़ करेंगे वर्सेस उत्सव गोल्ड विच इज ऑलमोस्ट अराउंड 1200 करोड़ का। ठीक है, सो इन दैट केस if Utsav Gold was growing at around more than 100%, then it would have been a clear winner. But here, with respect to Shanti and Utsav, Shanti Gold is a clear winner here. Now let's compare Shanti Gold versus the Sky Gold. तो यहाँ पे ना इसको दो तरीके से देख सकते हैं। एक तो सिंपल जो हम लोग हमेशा करते हैं कि देखना है कि पेस ऑफ द सेल्स ग्रोथ किस में इंक्रीज हो रहा है, तो उसका आंसर है सीधा सीधा शांति गोल्ड में वो इंक्रीज हो रहा है, वो बीट कर रहा है स्काई गोल्ड को। इफ यू कंपेयर FY26 का गाइडेंस वर्सेस दोनों में जो कंपेयर करेंगे तो 80% वर्सेस 70%। नाउ FY27 में भी अगर हम कंपेयर करेंगे तो FY27 में स्काई गोल्ड विल ग्रो एट अराउंड 33%, whereas in FY27 Shanti Gold will maintain the growth of around 36%। तो अभी going into the FY27 Shanti Gold is also not an attractive opportunity because वो 80% से ग्रो कर रहा था FY26 में, एंड ऑल ऑफ अ सडन इट स्टार्टेड ग्रोइंग एट अराउंड 36%, राइट। तो वो भी तो पेस ऑफ द सेल्स ग्रोथ डाउन होने वाला है ना नेक्स्ट ईयर का। ठीक है, तो ये कैलकुलेशन कैसे है, वॉल्यूम इनका जो हो जाएगा ऑलमोस्ट फुल कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन विच इज ऑलमोस्ट अराउंड उन्होंने किया ना 2000 केजी का जो गाइडेंस दिया है वॉल्यूम का, प्लस जो एडिशनल 1200 केजी का करेंगे उसका 60% आई एम कंसिडरिंग बिकॉज वो 60% यूटिलाइजेशन पे आएगा। तो दे वुड अर्न देयर रेवेन्यू बेसिस द 2700 केजी पर ईयर का वॉल्यूम, तो उसके बेसिस पे जो रेवेन्यू आता है उसके हिसाब से मैंने ये ग्रोथ यहाँ पे 36% रखा है। तो फॉर शांति गोल्ड एंड स्काई गोल्ड स्टोरी इन FY27 इज ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर बिकॉज दोनों में पेस ऑफ द सेल्स ग्रोथ इज फॉलिंग इन FY27। नाउ इन FY26 the story is exactly opposite. In FY26 Shanti Gold is doing better, growing at from 56 to 80%, whereas Sky Gold is going down from 103% to 70%. That is the only difference. Now this is one way of looking at it. Now what is the other way of looking at it? It is based upon the risk which you want to take. Now Sky Gold बड़ी कंपनी है इसलिए यहाँ पे रिस्क थोड़ा सा कम है as compared to Shanti Gold, right? So therefore less risk, definitely less low amount of you can say returns, whereas Shanti Gold is a smaller company than Sky Gold and therefore and growing at better growth rate, but obviously risk will be more as compared to Sky Gold. Now the risks are not known. If risks are known to you, that means you don't that means market has already factored in those risks. जो रिस्क है नहीं ना वही मार्केट फैक्टर नहीं कर पाता, तो अभी हमें आज के डेट में वो रिस्क नहीं पता है जो मोटा मोटी जो कॉनकॉल में है, दैट market knows from the day one. So I'm not talking more about that. So this is, I hope you understood this video, and it is not like कि हमेशा जो जो हम लोग को अच्छा लगता है वो हमेशा हम उसको बायसनेस आ ही जाता है, हम उसको अच्छे से पोर्ट्रे करने की कोशिश करते हैं, उसमें पॉजिटिव ढूंढने की कोशिश करते हैं हमेशा, बट ऑलवेज गो बाय द नंबर्स बिकॉज नंबर्स हमें एक्चुअल स्टोरी बता देते हैं, एंड ऑलवेज कंपेयर with the peers. So this is all about today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll make another video on the gold B2C now, comparing all the peers, and interesting case of PNG. ठीक है, so I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and